Please note that there has been a slight change in the lineup of upcoming videos. You'll see why as you watch this video. Thanks. Jesus explains the Antichrist, Part 1. Where shall the Antichrist come from? To understand the future, it is first necessary to understand the past. Narrated by Daniel. Line upon line, precept upon precept. Gradually, allow me to lay the foundation of truth so that there is no misunderstanding concerning the rise of the Antichrist, as foretold in my word. In Daniel 7, Medo-Persia is represented as a bear with one shoulder raised, and the Grecian kingdom is represented by a four-headed leopard with four wings of a fowl on its back, depicting Alexander the Great and his four generals. In Daniel 8, Medo-Persia is represented as a ram with one horn higher than the other, and the Grecian kingdom of Alexander the Great and his four generals is represented by a rough he-goat with significant horns. To understand the future, it is first necessary to understand the past. Therefore, allow me to explain these prophecies once again, so I can then explain the significance of Alexander the Great's kingdom, the kingdom of Grecia, in relation to the latter days and to the rise of the Antichrist. As you will see, these ancient prophecies were not for the prophet Daniel to understand, but for those who were to be living in the last days, in the time of the end. They are for you to understand. Daniel 8, the ram. Daniel 8:3 with commentary. A ram which had two horns, and the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. The Persian side of the dual kingdom of Medo-Persia came up last, but was the stronger side. Daniel 8:20 with commentary. The ram which thou sawest, having two horns, are the kings of Media and Persia. My word interprets itself to remove all doubt. Daniel 8:5 with commentary. And as I was considering, behold, an he-goat, the kingdom of Grecia, came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground, denoting speed. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes, Alexander the Great. Daniel 8:21 with commentary. And the rough he-goat is the king of Grecia, and the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king, Alexander the Great. Daniel 8, the ram and the goat. Daniel 8:6 and 7 with commentary. And he came to the ram that had two horns, Medo-Persia, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. And I saw him come close to the ram, and he was moved with choler, anger and fury against him. And he smote the ram, and brake his two horns, the kings of Medo-Persia. And there was no power in the ram to stand before him, but he cast him down to the ground, and stamped upon him. And there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand. Alexander the Great totally defeated Medo-Persia. Daniel 8:8 with commentary. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong in his prime, The great horn was broken. Alexander the Great died aged 32. And for it came up four notable ones toward the four winds of heaven. Alexander's kingdom divided between his four generals in four directions. Daniel 8:22 with commentary. Now that being broken, Alexander's death. Whereas four stood up for it, Alexander's four generals. Four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation. The four kingdoms when the kingdom of Grecia was divided, but not in his power, but no longer in Alexander's power. Now let us focus on what shall happen in the last days, in the time of the end. And remember, these ancient prophecies were not for the prophet Daniel to understand, but for those who were to be living in the last days, in the time of the end. They are for you to understand. Daniel 8:17 and 18 with commentary. For at the time of the end shall be the vision. The vision is to show what shall happen at the time of the end time. Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, in the last days. For at the time appointed the end shall be. The whole prophecy is to show what shall happen at the time appointed in the last days. Daniel 8:9 with commentary. And out of one of them, out of one of the four quarters of Alexander the Great's kingdom, came forth a little horn, the Antichrist in the latter time, which waxed exceeding great toward the south, and toward the east, and toward the pleasant land, Israel. The directions mentioned in Daniel 8:9 give no particular place of origin, and therefore it is not wise to speculate from which quarter the Antichrist shall arise. My word is sufficient to understand that the Antichrist shall arise from one of the four quarters of what was Alexander the Great's kingdom. I have told you these things before they come to pass, that when they come to pass, you may believe. And now a further layer of prophecy to confirm where and when the Antichrist shall arise. Daniel 8:23 with commentary. And in the latter time of their kingdom, in the last days, and from within the region that had been ruled by Alexander's four generals, when the transgressors are come to the full, when man's wickedness has reached a point of fullness, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. The time when I am going to let the Antichrist be revealed. And yet another perspective showing when and how the Antichrist shall become the supreme leader and king of the New World Order. Daniel 7:8. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were three of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And behold, in this horn were the eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. These horns represent the 10 kings who shall rule the New World Order. The little horn is the Antichrist who shall arise after the 10 kings of the New World Order are in power. The Antichrist shall subdue 3 of the 10 kings until all 10 agree to give their allegiance to him as the supreme leader of the New World Order. He shall then give all 10 power to rule as kings with him. The features on the little horn personify it as the Antichrist, who shall speak against God. And finally, this is how I had it explained to my prophet John, as it is recorded in the book of Revelation. Revelation 17:12-13. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, the 10 kings who shall be in power before the Antichrist is revealed, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one mind, and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Now, let's compare these prophecies side by side. After the 10 horns are in power, ruling the New World Order, the little horn Antichrist shall arise, and shall subdue 3 of the 10 kings, until all 10 agree to give their allegiance to the little horn as the supreme leader of the New World Order. He shall then give them power to rule with him as kings. Therefore, know and understand, the Antichrist shall not be revealed until unprecedented global events cause the nations of the world to accept the soon coming New World Order with its governing council of 10 kings. Then the Antichrist figure shall be revealed. Coming soon, Jesus explains Revelation, heads, horns, mountains, and kings. So be sure to do yourself and others a favor and subscribe, like, and share this channel. Thank you.